But unfortunately, it wasn't to be. Two of the guys couldn't go, and the show would not have worked if it wasn't the whole band, because they were all characters. And then he came to me and offered to take me to England with him. And I thought, well, we've done everything we can possibly do here. We worked that time. St George Lee's club was called the Taj Mahal. And once you hit the Taj Mahal, there was nowhere left to go. And we worked St George Lee's club for 3 weeks, 2 shows a night, Saturdays and Sundays. They were bussing people in from all over New South Wales to see the show. And so I thought, I want to see what's on the other side of the mountain. So I agreed to go over to London.
Please meet and greet the king of skiffle, Mr. Lonnie Donnegan.
Oh, I love the ladies. How are you? Love to have my fun, hi, darling. I'm a high, not fly, rainbow rider, and get out of here. Good gun, keep on talking about my joy to the world. All the boys and girls scream, joy to the fishes in the blue sea, joy to you and me. Joy to...
And in doing so, I ended up working as the opening act for him, and also being the MD for his band and playing in his band.
Yeah.
And so consequently, I went from a front man in the show in Australia to part of his show over there, and kept, you know, underneath. And from that day on, I always felt this is where I'm going to stay.
A little more comfortable as a side guy.
Not comfortable, but he'd embedded into me that you're always going to be the bridesmaid, never the bride, you know. So I got comfortable with where I was, what I do, and everything else, you know.
To put me in the picture here, the Two Eyes Coffee Bar in Soho, you said everyone sort of really crammed in, and that was like the place to sort of, that it was all happening. When's this, Roy? Is this early 60s?
No, way before then. This is around, this would have been about 1957, 58. Everybody went to the Two Eyes Coffee Bar. I mean, keep in mind, I was 12.
Yeah.
You know, so Cliff Richard had already was climbing up the ladder. The Shadows were climbing up the ladder. You had a guy called Tommy Steele. You had Joe Brown and the Brothers. You know, all the English rock and rollers, if you like. You know, the equivalent to the American people. You know, and that was the place to go. But unbeknownst to any of us, the rhythm guitarist's sister sent in this form to appear on Channel 10's New Faces, which is equivalent to Australia's Got Talent or Idol of today. And we get this phone call, you know, that you're on next Sunday. So we turn up there, and the guy goes, well, what's the name of the band? And we go, well, we haven't got a name. So he said, well, you've got to have a name. So I said, it's Custers' Last Stand. So he said, oh, okay. So we got a roll of black electrical tape and cut it up into squares and put Custers' Last Stand on the bass drum. And we went on New Faces as a joke, really, and we won, because whoever's got the top score, they were the person to beat. So for a whole year, we were on television every week.
So you won every week, so you'd be the first...
All we did, the main score, the main scorers would open the show. So they were guest artists for the next week. So as long as you stayed on top, you opened the show the following week, the following week.
Jeez.
So overnight, when I got back from Channel 10 on the day that we appeared, my phone was running so hot for bookings, I thought it was going to melt. And the next minute, you know, we're travelling all over the place. You know, we just became household names overnight. It was the most unbelievable thing that television did. But there was a Miller's circuit, so all the big bands worked the Miller's pubs, which was the main office, which isn't there anymore. It's now the Novotel at Brighton. That was the Miller's Brighton before. That was head office. Then you had the Free Swallows at Yagoona. You had the Motel at Yagoona. And it was a whole circuit.
Right.
So all the big bands, the Digger Ravells and the Denver Men and the Atlantics, Johnny Reb, you know, Ray Brown and the Whispers, you know, they were working this Miller's circuit, you know, and before that was the Beach House and Surf City at the Cross, the Beach House, and you know, that was the sort of the kids venues, but to get on the Miller circuit was a big thing because they paid decent money, and you were working to a sit-down audience, you know, and you had to be accompanied by a girl to get in there, and you had to have a coat and tie on, otherwise you wouldn't get in the door. And yeah, for a long time, I think it's for about a year and a half, while we were doing these club dates too, we also did the Silver Spade Room as a support act. So we got to work with, you know, the Stevie Wonder when he was really young. He just had his first hit. In actual fact, he gave us a song. Our one and only recording that we ever did was called A Place in the Sun, which he wrote. There's a place in the sun where there's hope for everyone, where my poor restless heart... He did nothing for us at all. He didn't get off the ground. We had a producer called Sven Leivik.
Sven Leivik.
Yeah, who produced all the surfing music in Australia, all the Bomboras and everything. So here we are with this latest song from Stevie Wonder, which was a really good song, you know, a really contemporary song, and we got the surf crashing in the background. And a piano player on it, we don't even know to this day who he was, you know. It was totally taken out of our hands. It was, you know, it was just destroyed. It was destroyed by this #1 producer of surfing music. The first hotel I ever played in is in Windsor. It's called the Fitzroy Hotel. I used to work there Thursdays, Fridays, Saturdays and Sunday afternoons in the beer garden. A couple of weeks ago, I was actually working at Richmond RSL, and I thought I'm going to go back to Windsor and have a walk through and revisit, you know, my past. I walked in there and I look in, and the first thing I see is a photo of my son, who I didn't even know, who actually puts the entertainment in there now. You know, so it's like revisit you, and it's a shock. You go in there, you go, because he does look a bit like me, you know, like a skinny one of me. And I looked and I thought, there's a photo, that's my son. And then I was talking to him last week, and he said, I've been booking that for yonks.
Your kids have all sort of followed you in various forms into the music industry or whatever?
3 out of 4 have, basically in some form or another. The eldest one's a girl, she's a school teacher. And and then Damien is the second eldest, then Shane, and then Colette. Well, Damien now runs a rock agency in Sydney. They're probably one of the biggest agencies that we have here now. Do a lot of work with international artists and all that sort of thing. And he runs a few bands himself and plays for quite a lot of different people like Richard Clapton and Vanessa Amorosi, and they've just currently put 1927 back on the road.
I know he's playing drums with 1927.
Yeah, a big group. My second son, he's sort of tour managing for people. He's quite a big lad, and tour managing for a lot of the big bands. And then my daughter, who's basically Damien's secretary. So she's in there.
The
as well.
booking agency. Wow.
So they're
family have all followed suit.
In one form or another. Music is still my life. My one wish, I think, is that when I do go, because I've had a few problems with my heart and things like that, I really do want to die on stage. I want to die singing.
Really?
I really want to die singing, because that for me will go, well,
that's it.
I've done it. I've finished what I started, and I finished where I wanted to.
Came in screaming, went out screaming.
If I can sort of do a show and then have a heart attack or something afterward and go, well, you know, I don't want to die in a bedroom or, you know, on some desert island or something like that. I want to die doing what I love doing. That's really where I want to end up. You know, like with the new show now, I'm 65 now. I'm still enjoying music. The enthusiasm's still there. And as you know, in the new show, I'm playing drums. Man, it's very...
it's a workout.
It's a workout with this show. It's a workout. So they said to me, you need to exercise. I said, look, once this show starts, I'm going to get all the exercise I need.
Wouldn't shed my heart
Been working in show business full time since '69.
All right, Roy. Nice chatting to you.
You too,
and
mate.
we'll chat and catch up soon, I'm sure.